Okay guys, by now we should be getting the hang of the whole statement reason setup. Okay, and we should still all be marking up our diagrams first. So this is your little helper guide for question 6. Now, as always, I'm going to start here by labeling my givens. Okay, I'm just going to label them on here with one loop each because they're the first angle I've seen that's definitely congruent. Our next given piece of information is that O is the midpoint of PS. Okay, we realize midpoints are in the middle of a line, which means it divides it perfectly in two. So that means PO is congruent to SO. Now, before we get any further, Mr. Katz made a little boo-boo here, and he's made it prove SO is congruent to PO. That's actually given from the midpoint. So we're going to actually prove here that angle R is congruent to angle Q. Now, we need one more thing to prove triangle congruence to begin with. Okay, so again, we go on the hunt for something that we can use. Now, I can see I don't have any reflexive sides because the triangles aren't leaning up against each other on one side, but I do have a set of vertical angles. Okay, there they are there. So now I have three things and it's time to get going on my congruence proof. We start by listing our givens. Angle P is congruent to angle S. Okay, that was our given. Now again, our second given was that O is the midpoint of PS. Now that didn't tell us that two lines were congruent. Okay, we knew that from the word midpoint. So what I'm going to say is I'm going to say PO is congruent to OS. And our reason is definitely not given. The reason that we knew that is because of the word midpoint. Okay, so we're going to say that's the definition of a midpoint. Alright, now we've got two things. Our final one that we found for ourselves as well was that I'm going to start with angle R, O, S is congruent to angle Q, O, S, OP. Now, that was because they were vertical angles. And as we know, vertical angles are always congruent. Now, it's time for us to prove triangle congruence. Now, let me just change colours. So we can now use these same letters because I used them in order to say that triangle ROS is congruent to triangle QOP. And our reason there, we had angle side angle. Now it's just time to prove what we set out to prove after I changed the goal, which was that angle R was congruent to angle Q. We can now just say that because we've proven that the triangles are indeed congruent. So all we need to say again is cptc